Guys, you need to know what your dispute resolution options are, and you have options. The first option that you have is to make a phone call. Make a phone call. If you disagreed at an IEP meeting, that's not the end of it. You don't necessarily have to go ahead and file, but make a phone call. Who is in charge that can make a decision? Who's in charge that can release funds? Who's in charge that can hire staffing? And that might just be the principal at your elementary school. There might have been an assistant principal in your meeting who wasn't as lovely as you would have liked, right? If that doesn't work, you can always reach out to the special education coordinator, the special education compliance director, the special education director, the special education executive director. If that doesn't work, you can reach out to the dean of education and then the superintendent. You have a lot of options before you file a formal complaint. If those options don't work, let's kind of unpack what your choices are for formal complaints. You have four. You have four options for formal complaints, and I hope that you never need them. But if you do, you need to know it's a legal process. You need to file legally and cleanly and without emotion, right? This is a business meeting, and this is about educating your child with disabilities. So what's the first option? You can do a state written complaint. So your SEA, the state education agency, you can write a formal state complaint. You have to know what the allegation is, what you're alleging, because you're alleging something, and something illegal, not just, I don't like the teacher. What is the allegation? And then what is the proposed remedy? So what's the allegation? What's the proposed remedy? And whatever way you file, any of those entities, whether it's a state entity, a mediation provider of services or help, a hearing officer, an appellate judge, or an attorney at the Office of Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Education, is going to want to know those two things. What are you alleging, and what would resolve it? What's the problem with supporting facts, right? And what would it take to resolve it? So you have to know that when you go in. So you could do a formal state complaint. It's very limited, and you should know whatever you file, they're going to send to the district's attorney, and they're going to respond with legal language. So that's number one. Number two, you could file for mediation. Mediation, I love. It gives both parties the most liberty. You're not stuck with choices. It's voluntary. The decisions are sealed if you come to resolution. Almost always there should be that option. Number three, you can file due process, which is a due process hearing. It's much more formal. And number four, you can file with the federal government, with the Office of Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Education, when you're alleging that the child has been discriminated based on a myriad of entities. So those are your four dispute resolution options. Special education boss, don't you want to be one?